Welcome back to Second Bloom Journey, where every story begins with purpose, power, and potential. I'm Thủy Trương, and here we explore the stories of women who turned pain into power and moments of doubt, change, and courage into legacy. Women who rose, rebuilt, and reclaimed self-light. If you are women over 40, navigating life or cultural transitions, this is your space to reconnect with your purpose, reignite your power, and unlock the potential that's always been within you. Today, we are traveling back in time to meet a woman who transformed her shattered body into a canvas of resilience. She painted her way through 30 surgeries, 3 miscarriages, and a lifetime of chronic pain to become the most celebrated female artist of her time. Her name was Frida Kahlo. This is a story about what happens when we refuse to let our suffering define us, when we take the broken pieces of our lives and create something beautiful, powerful, and undeniably ours. Your second bloom happens not when life gets easier, but when you stop waiting for the pain to end and start using it as fuel for your transformation. Frida Kahlo's life was irrevocably marked by pain, disability, isolation, and loss, even before the catastrophic event that defined her art. At the age of 6, she contracted polio, which left her right foot and leg weakened and crippled, contributing to childhood bullying and isolation. But the world changed forever on September 17, 1925, when she was just 18 years old. While riding a bus home in Mexico City, a streetcar crashed into them. The impact was devastating. An iron handrail pierced through her pelvis. Her spine shattered in 3 places, and her right leg fractured in 11 places. Medical experts considered surviving such injuries in 1925 close to a miracle. Survival, however, came at a steep price. Before this accident, Frida was planning to become a doctor, dreaming of healing others. In one moment, that path was taken from her. For the next 3 decades, Frida would undergo approximately 30 orthopedic operations. She wore 28 different corsets made of steel, leather, and plaster just to hold her body together. She spent months, sometimes years, confined to her hospital bed, battling relentless chronic pain and fatigue. Her existence became a crucible where acute physical and emotional trauma was systematically converted into a visual vocabulary of resilience. Imagine lying in that hospital bed, body encased in plaster, the life you planned gone, and the pain constant and overwhelming. Most of us would retreat, become smaller, quieter. Frida did the opposite. Her parents installed a special easel over her bed and attached a mirror to the ceiling so she could see her own face. And Frida began to paint. Her famously declared, "I paint myself because I'm often alone, because I know myself best." This wasn't narcissism. This was radical self-documentation. It was her way of saying, if I'm going to be trapped in this broken body, I'm going to be the one who tells its story. I will take back control of the only thing I have left, my voice, my vision, and my truth. Her commitment to explicit self-documentation was a revolutionary act. She was claiming ownership of her narrative, asserting, "This is my body. This is my pain. This is my story, and I will not let anyone else define what it means." That meter above her bed is a metaphor for what happens when we stop looking away from ourselves and truly see all of it, the beautiful and the broken, the pain and the power. Frida didn't just paint pretty pictures. She created a visual language of survival. She transformed her raw material of suffering into art, beauty, and power. Her defining philosophy was a fierce refusal to surrender into invalidism. Consider her masterpiece, The Broken Column, painted in 1944 after yet another spinal surgery. In this painting, Frida stands against a barren landscape. Her body split open down the middle. Instead of a spine, an ionic column representing classical architecture runs through her torso, suggesting her life is structurally ruined while asserting enduring structure over her physical decay. She wears a restrictive steel orthopedic corset, symbolizing the invalid's imprisonment, and the external support needed to keep her body from falling apart. Covering her entire body are dozens of nails, representing unbearable tension and a feeling of paralysis. But despite the tears on her cheeks, her face is unflinching, her gaze steady, challenging the audience to witness her pain directly. She is saying, "Yes, I'm suffering, but I'm still standing, and I refuse to surrender." She applied this brutal frankness to all her traumas when she had a miscarriage and lost her dream of becoming a mother. She painted Henry Ford Hospital, showing herself bleeding on her hospital bed, connected by symbols representing her loss of fertility. When her husband, Diego Rivera, had an affair with her sister, she painted the two Fridas, showing herself split in two, one version loved, one abandoned, but both supporting each other. She also used her clothing as an act of alchemy. She started wearing long traditional Mexican Tijuana dress to conceal her right leg, which was weakened by childhood polio. What began as a way to hide her weakness became her signature strength. The dresses evolved into a political statement, a celebration of her Mexican indigenous heritage, and a rejection of European colonialism and American capitalism. She turned shame into pride and concealment into proclamation. Frida made a radical choice to take the most intimate, private, female experiences, chronic pain, reproductive trauma, physical disability, emotional suffering, and forced them into the public realm of high art. In the 1940s, this was revolutionary. Women's pain was supposed to stay hidden. Female bodies were supposed to be beautiful, not broken. Frida asserted, "My pain is real. My body is real, and it deserves to be seen." Beyond the personal, she grounded her suffering into something larger than herself. Frida was a committed communist and political activist who believed that nobody fights alone and that individual suffering is connected to collective struggle. One of her last paintings, "Marxism Will Give Health to the Sick," shows this ultimate ideological transformation. Painted when her body was failing completely, she depicts herself being cradled by giant, nurturing hands representing Marxist ideology. She was projecting her hope onto a political revolution, believing that if society could be healed, perhaps she could be healed too. Her dedication to challenging norms also established her as feminist icon. She pioneered discourse of intersectionality by openly addressing themes traditionally considered taboo, like bodily degradation and reproductive loss. She defied conventional beauty standards by accentuating her unibrow and facial hair. Frida Kahlo died on July 13, 1954, at the age of 47. Her last words in her diary were, "I hope the exit is joyful, and I hope never to return," reflecting a life of profound and relentless pain. Yet, she left behind a body of work that pioneered a new form of psychobiographical self-portraiture. Now, I need to be real about irony of her legacy. Today, you see Frida's face on everything. Coffee mugs, t-shirt, makeup, a phenomenon dubbed Fridamania. One of her paintings sold for over 34 million. This commercialization is paradoxical because Frida fought against capitalism her whole life. Critics argue that turning a revolutionary into a marketing symbol betrays her political convictions. I understand that betrayal. However, there's a lesson there. Because her image is everywhere, her story survives. Young women see her and start asking questions. Women with disabilities see someone who didn't hide her pain. The commercial visibility ensures her enduring relevance and plants seeds of deeper curiosity about her true convictions. She proved that using what you have, even if the tools are imperfect, is better than silence. This is the key takeaway for your second bloom journey. Your suffering is not waste. Every setback, every moment you thought would destroy you, is raw material, is the compost for your transformation. You're not too old to start over. Frida was still creating some of her most celebrated works in her 30s while confined to bed. You're not too broken to be beautiful. Her brokenness became her signature. Her scars became her art. You're not too different to belong. She celebrated her heritage and unique features in a world that demanded assimilation. You don't have to be a famous artist. You just have to be willing to look at yourself. Really see yourself with honesty and compassion, and claim your story instead of hiding from it. You must be willing to use your pain as fuel for transformation instead of letting it become your prison. I want to leave you with one of Frida's most powerful quotes, which captures the essence of this journey. "I'm not sick. I am broken, but I'm happy to be alive as long as I can paint." Whatever your painting is, whether it's writing, starting a new business, cooking traditional food, or finally speaking up in meetings, that is your reason to be alive. That is your second bloom waiting to happen. You don't have to wait until you are healed or whole or perfect. You can start creating now, from exactly where you are, with exactly what you have. You have already proven that you have the courage. You survived things that could have destroyed you. That's the phoenix in you. So, what will you create from your ashes? Thank you for joining me on this second bloom journey. Your next chapter isn't about starting over. It's about starting true. Keep living with purpose, rising in power, and growing into your full potential. If Frida's story resonates with you, I would love to hear about it. Share this episode with another woman who needs to hear that her pain can become her power. And remember, you're not too old, you're not too broken, you're not too late. You're right on time for your second bloom. Until next time, keep painting your truth.